Happy Friday, everybody. How's it going? Let's talk a little gold and silver. It's been a little while, and by that I mean about a week. But we always like to come back to it because it's so critical and vital and important, and it's not going anywhere. And I mean, we're still up in silver today, but I mean, silver hit 36, 34 today. Huge move in the last, let's just say, even 5 days, 2 weeks, kind of thing. It's really kind of taken up a storm. Lots of interest there. And of course, gold. It's in its kind of trading range now. But we went back and just looked at like an 8-year chart, which is when we started really focusing, like 2017, 18, whenever I first started really focusing on gold. And just that chart is wild. I mean, did I think at that point you'd see a 3,500? I would have said that's aggressive. But now, do I think you can see a 4,000, 5,000? Yep. I'm not saying it's going to happen this year, but yeah. I mean, anything that's happening today, last week, yesterday, likely tomorrow, is still strengthening the absolute critical need for people to be looking at precious metals. And arguably, a lot of these producers are kicking out massive cash flow. And I know people, they need to come around to mining. They really do. It's happening. But it's pretty wild to see. And I think we're talking about this in the sense of the debt crisis, where things can go totally for the U.S. and in Canada, the West in general. There's a lot happening as far as solutions and whatnot. And I'm going to try to keep away for the most part about the ongoing sitcom drama show that is down in the States. I'm already sick of hearing about the relationship between Trump and Elon Musk. If you just put on your hat and go, this is far more exciting than any what called scripted sitcom out there, like Survivor or the dating kind of shows where these are scripted real-time shows that pretend to be real. I look at this as absolutely being no different. Now, I might get a lot of criticism for it, but whenever these types of things happen, like this big blow up, I just think of it as kind of like that old show Dynasty, or I guess you go like Landman or what do you call it? Yellowstone. There's something else deeper happening behind the scenes. Now, there's lots of things bigger, more important happening behind the scenes. But whenever this type of nothingness is capturing everyone's headlines to talk about issues that just quite frankly aren't terribly important, whether or not Elon Musk and Donald Trump are getting along, it's a distraction. And often, doesn't matter who's in power, those in power look for distractions to deal with real events that are brewing and undergoing. And I don't think we're not going to focus too. I mean, it's not hard to focus on all the serious wars going on and issues happening out there right now. But what we will say is that we don't have an opinion too strong either way in regards to this big, beautiful bill. We might do a bit of a deep dive in our Substack to see where money is being spent in it. But to be perfectly honest, any massive push to keep on spending, we kind of assumed had to happen because there wasn't a plan put forth to say, here's how we're dealing with entitlements, debt issuance, and the ongoing debasement of the dollar and everything else. And, we know that, Trump said we want to defend the dollar. But we will look a little bit to see how I think it's 2.4 trillion, how that can help to possibly create some sort of buoyed approach and prolong things for a bit. Because really at this stage, whatever solution you'd be looking at, including like a Bitcoin bond strategy, which we'll touch on in a little bit. I don't want to get too much into it because once again, I look at that as more of a scheme than anything else. But there isn't really anything put forth that could truly deal with the situation that they've been kind of locked into. Now, one could look back and go at the GDP to debt ratios and go, oh, well, after World War II, they face, I think, at the same levels. I think it was 122% back then. We're at 119% right now. Could be the other way around. So there is a way back. And one would say that Biden started with onshoring a lot of businesses and the reflection of that. And then Trump is going to further that. So once again, I like to give credit where credit's due to both sides of things. And this more aggressive, more patriotic, I guess you'd say, or more nationalistic approach by the U.S. currently to say we're onshoring as much as possible. And I don't mean the trope of we're bringing back factory jobs of like twisting a can or putting a part on together on an assembly line. That's not what's coming back. What's coming back is critical infrastructure, technological chips, all these types of things that will be done by robots. And that creates a massive amount of efficiency and wealth. It will. The biggest problem, though, and we're certainly not going to get into this, though, is if you've got mass migration plus AI robotics taking over, you face a significant issue, like a startling one, because you're not going to be able to train up everyone. There's going to be a lot of people losing jobs as well, even if you're onshoring most of these. But you're saying, well, yeah, there's going to be need for more high tech kind of applications in dealing with robotics, but that isn't, a lot of new people coming to the country. That they're not coming prepackaged with engineering degrees and whatnot, as much as some do. I'm not saying that, but the vast majority, that's not what we're seeing anywhere in the West. So there's real issues moving forward, and it becomes very tough to see is there any possible way out. And certainly if you look at the spat between the two ex best friends, one is that you'd set up this idea of a Doge with aspirations of cutting trillions, which I think most fiscally responsible and kind of level-headed people would say that would be an amazing thing to do. That would be great. It's very tough to do. You have entrenched bureaucracy, never mind entrenched political ideologists that their livelihood depends. I mean, the entire complaining market, I'll call it, but activist market, that's a whole job now. I mean, you could be a professional protester for the rest of your life. That's a whole new job that people can have. So to think that that's ever going away now, very challenging, very hard, because for a lot of people that aren't, they don't have the capabilities of going into robotics, or those that just don't have the aptitude. If they can look and go, oh, I could be a professional activist and march around and do this and that, maybe do some PR, that becomes a livelihood. And for anybody, whether or not you think that's noble or not, or anything, when people are faced with, I have to find a way to make a living, and that becomes a way to make a living, it's easy to justify. But it really is. It's just human nature. So I know I'm being a little bit flippant with it, but at the same time, we're facing a pinnacle point where is there enough people, and I'll say just the whole West, but particularly, no, I'll just keep it the West. So, North America, Europe, and whatnot, that actually want those countries to succeed. I would say it's not as much as one would think. Like, it's probably maybe 60-40. I think there's a lot that don't want to see success here. And that, once again, sounds radical, an idea. But I don't really think it is. If someone was to actually look through to see the policies, the ideas put forth, a lot of the narrative that we've had to listen to for the last 8 or so years of victimization and victimhood and all this terrible stuff, and we're so awful. That's obviously not a winning mentality. I mean, I always like to go back to sports themes. If you're a professional team and you have a victimhood mentality, you're not winning anything. So that means you're not getting advertisements, you're not getting money flowing in, you're not getting then the better players, except if your entire strategy is that, no, maybe we do get more advertising by being absolutely awful and miserable all the time. And for a brief window of time, we've experienced that. Hopefully we're seeing a shift now. We're certainly seeing indications here in Canada of that being true. Very hopeful, the case. And this kind of stimulus into the U.S. as far as onshoring businesses, we're going to see, I hope, and the proof will be in the pudding if countries start investing in Canada, if pension funds start investing in Canada. And we'll know fairly soon. We certainly see the discussions are, let's get rid of some of this ridiculous tax and permitting and whatnot in between provinces so that we can at least properly trade between provinces. But all of these things, once again, they're all mixed together because whether it's Doge or this, you're fighting against a bureaucracy that is embedded, entrenched, and they don't think of themselves as not being terribly useful. I mean, it's a mindset. There are people that are extremely methodical. They believe in extreme step-by-step. And then, of course, there's the entrepreneur like myself, who is more of a go with the flow. I want to create. I want to get out there. I want to learn as much as possible. I want to get hands-on into something and do it. I don't want to spend 3 years planning and talking about it, having case studies and case studies and case studies. And you have to find a happy medium between the two. So once again, I'm trying not to be judgmental about that type of personality, but those personalities exist, and they think themselves as being just as vital as I think, the spark of creativity or the Elon Musk rogue, crazy, or arguably genius type of person. And we need to find that happy balance between the two. And generally in the past, Canada's been very good at that. Of course, the pendulum swing way too far one way. And I kind of thought that, oh God, we're heading into further down that path. But I think, no, once again, people that know me are surprised, but I'm a bit more hopeful each day. I see stuff in the news. And that's also, I like to bring it up, not because, oh, Andrew, that's so noble that you're being more, judicious about this, and you're not being critical or just following propaganda one way or the other. Because part of our whole channel is it's the market mindset. It's that mindset. We have to be able to critically judge our own biases and beliefs as best we can. I mean, it's tough, but I have to look and go, wait, is what they're saying actually pretty fair right now? And not everything has to be, but like, yes, that's not bad. And to be able to live in that space is uncomfortable, but also it's freeing because I can be very critical and worried about something and then turn out and go, oh, okay, well, I don't have to like this part of this politician, but no, they're implementing policies that might actually work and might be good. All right, good. And that's a lot better to celebrate than have to dream up an idea of, well, they're doing what I want, but I still think it's terrible. And I have to put out some sort of propaganda piece about why it's so awful and terrible. It's like, no, like, once again, hopefully we're going to see the world, or certainly our world, the one that we control, which is our own family, friends in like the West. That's where we exist and live, that we find more of a middle ground. And hopefully we're going to get there. And I think there's a possibility we can. And I say this all in the bigger, kind of context of gold and silver. Whether or not you are absolutely 100% behind the idea of onshoring jobs back to the U.S., manufacturing, building, and everything else, and that it'll have amazing success. It's not happening tomorrow. The case for precious metals isn't changing, and we're seeing that. It's just getting stronger because we are in this transition period, and it's not short. It's not a short, quick fix. And you can see a lot of the same. There's lots of differences between that IRA, Inflation Reduction Act, and the further pursuance of what Trump has put forth. Some of it's the the but parts of it that are different are, one is trying to attract capital in instead of printing money, saying, listen, we want you to invest in the U.S. Instead of us just printing the money. Now, they are printing $2 trillion, but that's a lot different than 10. So you could argue, okay, that's a little bit better. Also, massive deregulation and permitting and whatnot, which is what is absolutely required, not only to attract that money, because the market's going to tell you, as much as you could read an article or an analyst or the thoughts of someone, the market will tell you, and that being where money is flowing, where the market thinks it should. That's the answer. It doesn't, whether it means it's right or not, that's up to you to decide, morality or ethically or whatnot. But if you want to know if something's working, that's how you know. The rest of the world says, yes, we think you're worth investing in. We think this is important and it's vital. And that's really, it's the same as with people's actions. Like you watch to see what they do rather than what they say. I mean, that's kind of how we judge people, or should judge people. Is less about all this kind of stuff. It's more about, well, they're talking this way, but then they went and did something else. Same thing with countries, with markets, with money. You could talk all you like about, themes and this and that. We really support this. Where's most of the money going? And the U.S. is attracting a ton of money. And we certainly hope that that's the case for Canada. And there's still potential that that could happen. But once again, this kind of shift towards more of a patriotic U.S., this could also lead to, which also I'll say is great for gold. And likely we will see possibly some sort of Bitcoin bond, some sort of crypto asset. I think that's exceptionally likely. Lutnick is a massive fan of that. Peter Thiel is a massive fan of that. Elon Musk is a massive fan of that. We've seen, even like we haven't heard from him for a little bit, but Vivek Ramaswamy, he's pitched, blockchain for government as well. Will they try to do a CBDC? I don't know, because that will get people a little bit, the back of the hair will raise a little bit if they see that in the States. That's a harder thing to pull off. But you could see some sort of Bitcoin bond. And, my take, I think everyone has a bit of, as pretty sure of, is that will be some sort of, I would argue, failed instrument. It'll have a good lifespan of maybe 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. But it would attract certain types of capital. It could deal with, certainly there's a lot of refinancing of debt coming up very soon. Could it deal with that and provide liquidity and provide a solution? It could. Is there a potential to make short-term money trading that or playing that? Yes. Would I want to hold it long-term? Absolutely not. So once again, to me, two different stories. Precious metals, gold and silver, are they going to do well as your foundation? Yes. This is forward-speaking comments. I have to be careful how I say that. But do I feel strongly about it for myself and my own portfolio? Yes. Do I think that there could be interesting things coming out very shortly? Yes. Could they make money? Yes. And could they go parabolic? Yeah, possibly. So I wanted to kind of throw it out there because it's something interesting that we're seeing, because we've seen Florida take on the approach that they are recognizing gold as legal tender. That's a big step. So what's the next one? Is that maybe the test state? Let's try it here and see if it works. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. Just let us know what you think. Or let us know, do you think that there will be some sort of crypto Bitcoin bond type of strategy? It's being pitched a lot, so it's not new. I'm not dreaming up ideas here. There's lots of people that are already talking in and around Washington about these types of ideas and how it could reframe the dollar, or how it could become, the U.S. could be a cryptocurrency, spot for the world, this kind of thing. And unfortunately, it comes prepackaged with an ideology as well, which is not great. If it was something loved by both sides, like, listen, this thing really works, and we think that there's a solution, that's more of something that would be considered real, rather than just it's fixed to an ideology. But listen, we don't know. There's certainly more coming. There's certainly more drama coming, and that means a lot of room for safe, boring, required assets. There's lots of dividend paying stocks out there as well that look strong. What I will say is it's not part of our purview really, but it is, a large part of my interest. Those of you who've been watching us for a while, we spoke a lot about Palantir back when it was $17. I have to check. I think, Palantir is over 100 right now, doing just fine. Now that's a controversial stock on itself. 126.18. It's doing great. If you want to know some stocks that will likely do well in the Trump administration, that is one of them. And I would argue, if it happens this year, IPO and Ural, we're going to do a bit of a deep dive into that one as well. That one will be a flyer if it does actually come to market. And both of those are defense contractors. They're reshaping all of AI use, not only for warfare, but also for drones, all of these types of things that we see in the Ukraine, all these drone strikes that we're seeing. That's a lot of Palantir and it's a lot of Anduril. This is being happening at lightning speeds. This work done with security and defense contractors is being funded massively as well. I think it was $1 trillion that the Trump administration is spending on military. And I suspect it's going towards upgrading some of the old equipment. I mean, a lot of it obviously they gave away to Ukraine. They were able to dump off some of the old stuff to create new stuff, and a lot of that new stuff, it's going to come with a lot of Anduril, and it's going to come with a lot of Palantir. Now, once again, this is not part of our usual discussion, gold and silver, kind of the mining kind of stuff. But we do like to follow things that seem very blatantly obvious to us, and we've explained it to people in our Substack as to why we feel that these two companies particularly are situated well for the chaos ahead and the timing of everything ahead. In any event, we always like to come back to gold and silver because there's not a ton to talk about, to be perfectly honest. Most people in the space are well aware of it. I'm always amazed that whenever I go speak to other people that aren't in our space, are in our sector and whatnot, and it's still new to them, the idea, and they don't even realize the run that gold and silver has had, and they think, holy smokes, that's absolutely incredible for something that is your foundation. This is not your it isn't your high flyer crypto stock or high flyer crypto scheme. This is base stuff. This is foundational stuff for building wealth. It isn't the extreme of venture capital. So in any event, everyone, very busy times. It's going to be a very busy summer. Of course, get out there, enjoy it with your family, have some fun. But there's changes happening, and it's happening very quickly. And there's a lot of garbage and hype out there that's nonsense. But there's a lot of real things happening, and we got to stay on top of it. And you got to build that foundation very firm and very strong. Beyond that, then dream about the AIs, the robots, and all that wonderful stuff. Whether it's even possible, or whether you're going to recolonize Mars and all that crazy kind of talk. It's fun to have those, but hey, let's just figure out how to mine properly here on Earth before you wonder about whether you can mine an asteroid or repopulate a foreign planet. In any event, good fun chat to have, good things to kind of throw out there, because once again, it's good to put things into context. And right now, we're sitting well with the base of our own portfolio. We feel very strong moving forward. And it's nice to have something that is that sturdy backing behind you, like a precious metal, while you're facing a lot of uncertainty. And there's no doubt that there's going to be constant up and downs. It's going to be a drama fest for the years ahead. I think everyone can state that's going to be the case, whether you think it's out of a plan, like this is part of the strategy, or whether you think it's just madness. Doesn't matter. It's just what we're going to be facing, and it is just reality. So we have to be able to cope and deal with it and have a good strategy for dealing with that. Everyone have a great weekend. We look forward to seeing you next week. We got some great guests coming up. And once again, shoot me off any questions or any things that you want to talk about. We love getting the feedback. All the best, and we'll talk to you soon.